Now you may have seen me on my most recent video anyway. I dyed some bronze mallard, or just basically feathers that weren't the best bark feathers. But so what I normally do is dye them, and so this is the feather here I dyed. Now it was a fluorescent pink, though if you put in enough dye you'll get a nice magenta like colour. And here's a cape I dyed as well. So this is just a cock neck, an Indian cock neck that I dyed, and it's for this fly as well. Now I normally tie these in 10s and 12s. 10 most popular, especially in Ireland. It's a good pattern, good for trout, sea trout, salmon, so it's a good pattern to have in your box. Thread I'm going to be using is the Unithread 80 in red, and the hook is this one. It's a black nickel which suits the darkness of the fly. Though you could use a standard hook, you can tie it whatever you like. Now, as you can see, it's a size 10. Now I've waxed the thread, just start at the eye. Just wind down, controlling the turns with the waste piece by keeping it tight. You can wind to the back of the hook and then remove the waste. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tie in one of the big hackles I'm going to take off. And I put some cotton fibres in. Now the tail of this fly is normally just bronze mallard, but I like to put some tail fibres in as well. This makes it, the bronze mallard is a good tail fibre, but it does break off after a few fish. It starts to wear out, so tail co is just least left with some cotton fibres. So there's the bronze mallard dyed, put a few fibres, sit on top. Now the length of the tail, usually around about the length of the hook or so. And that'll tie on, that sort of balances the fly. Set that on top. Pull in a wee bit. It's best up. And we trim it the length of the body. I'm just going to quickly take the thread up, just to hold in the waist ends, and the way back down I'm going to tie in this is an oval gold tinsel, a small, to catch it on the side. And wind down. Just take your time when you're doing it, nice and tight with the thread turns. Now the body, I'm just using an SLF. Now I've actually mixed a wee bit of UV through it, so it gives it a wee bit extra. SLF, this is the old packet, like I'm not sure it's Wapsie does it now. This is when Davie was selling it at the time. Now we dub it on. Slide it up, and then we get an anchor point, so we can work from there. Just work your way up, just forming a nice body with the dubbing. Just tighten it up when you need to and slacken it off if it's a wee bit too tight. Just needs a wee drop more. Give yourself, because it's the bronze mallard we're using, make sure you get plenty of room up the top. Now I'm going to get a hackle for the cock neck. You see this nice magenta. This is just a cheap Indian neck. Now with dabblers I don't mind a long hackle. It swims nice. So just open the feather out. I'm going to tie in some of the softer fibres at the base. So I'll go down here. I'm just going to take away some of the fluff here and leave even some. You can see a wee tiny bit there, and then trim away what you don't need. The stem, sure there's wax on your thread, just offer it to the side, tie it down, get your hackle pliers. Yeah, I'm on a couple of turns at the top. You'll find the stem is stiff at the top and it wants to twist sometimes. Just try and ignore it. Or try and control it sometimes as well, but it gets a bit flat. Now, turn at the back, just follow just basically bring the hackle tip to the top, follow it up with the rib, wind through, you're looking around about 5 turns, before you tie off, draw these fibres back so that you can get the thread turning there. Then a wee touch of wax. Just allows you to basically give you more grip. And if you do let the thread go and not pull back, not come loose, I'm using my nail just to flatten the end of the oval rib. That makes it easier to tie in. To break off tip. Now you could get your Velcro here and bring out some of the dubbing. Just watch your thread though, take it out of the way. See how it's looking, that's fine. So we've got our bronze mallard, now I've got the remains of a feather here. Now I like to use the tips up with the remains. So there's enough on there for a throat, so I'm just going to bring it out. And there's lots of ways, before we go any further, to tie dabblers. This is the way I like. Now I usually just pinch and loop up. I'm just checking how much is on here. It doesn't seem a lot. Then I'm going to go back in, get some more fibre. So I've just got a wee drop more. I'm just going to then blend it or mix it. I didn't do too good a job there, but anyway, that's it sorted. Now I usually, as I say, do a pinch and loop up the way. Length. It's a personal, short, it could be long. It's up to yourself. There's lots of ways to tie a dabbler. If I pull the fibre back out, just to the bar by the hook or so, just pinch and loop up the way, 2 or 3 turns, and then you can press it with your nail and you see how it flares it out. That looks not too bad. Make sure there's again wax on your thread. Trim this away, just watch your thread. Now I'm holding the thread away with my finger, and then come in with the tips, trim that away. Got 2 feathers here, got a right and a left. These are small, not the best feathers, but they're ideal. They're still good enough for to tie the fly. First thing I do is basically take away the fluff at the base, and then I'm going to bring out a good, sort of maybe a centimetre or so wide. Just lay that on my desk, get the other feather, do the same on this side, just bring it out, tear away. And then what I like to do is just lay it on top of one another. So we've got right and left fibres there. And then what I'll try and show you. I'm basically mixing these fibres up. I'm bringing my fingers through. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm actually, and then I want to make sure the tips are right. Marrying these together, right and left fibres. And then I'm going to fold them to get a wing. The length is at least the tail length. And then I just fold it in half. Pinch and loop on the top, tighten up. See how they're going to sit. That looks okay. I'll trim this away. Now wax your thread. Now I usually bring the thread to the eye, and then I'm cutting the thread into the cut ends of the bronze mallard and work my way up. So basically I'm building a step, a thread, pushing up into these cut ends, and forming the head. And there we are. So basically that's it, nice and tight. Jungle cock's an optional thing. So we've got 2 eyes here. Or you can have a single eye and split it. It's up to yourself. So you can lay it on top of one another. So we've got 2 eyes there. Both lined up. Hold the tips. Draw back what you don't want. Then encourage them apart. And then one either side of the wing. You can put them on individually if you wish. So there's a couple of turns there just to see how they're going to sit and how long they are. Yeah, I'm not so keen on that one. So I'm going to go back. They're quite long, these eyes. It's not the best jungle conch, so I'm just going to come in a wee bit with him. And again, come in with a couple of turns. If you're not happy, always go back. It's not the best eye, that. Doesn't look good at all. This eye is fine. Just this one here seems a wee bit bigger, so we'll go back. As I say, if you're not happy, just go back. Go back in and get another feather. And try and match it up. Usually I try and get 2 feathers or close. This is an unusual wee cape. They're quite long eyes, you can see there. I may select another 2 so that they're evenly matched. As I say, they're quite long eyes. It's quite weird, but anyway. You can only pedal with the oars you've got, so there we go. Going back to the 2 eyes, seeing that one again is bigger than the other. There's that wee. Gonna match these up. This is fly tying for you. Just selecting the materials to suit the flies you're tying. So we've got 2 eyes. Try again. Just hold them on the sides and up into the wing. See what they're like. I'm happy with that, that's fine. Come down, protect them. I like to fold them back. I'm going to build up the head with the thread. And don't be shy with the head and the fly. And then making whip finish. Always keeping the thread nice and tight. Just going to keep the thread tight and break these off. If you can break them off, you get a neater cut. Trim your thread. Now for speed, what I'm going to do is, you probably see me do this many times. I use super glue, but you're just basically touching the head. You certainly don't want it to come into the dressing. Just tap the head and rotate the vise like I'm doing, and then allow that to dry. Now you'll have a head like this once you've got a coat of varnish on it, nice and bright looking, just the way it looks like just now. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. It's another video to the list, and it's not a fly that everybody's going to be tying, but it's a good pattern, and you can tie in bigger sizes, tie it small. So until next time, and thank you for watching.